What's up, Falcon fans? On today's episode, I'm going to talk about 3 key matchups that I personally want to see against the Cincinnati Bengals. But last time I did it against the Miami Dolphins, I was completely wrong because I had all the starters I thought were going to play at that game. Clearly, was not in the cards for your boy. So clearly, that video was negative at that point. But hopefully, this time around, everything will be good. So if you guys like this type of content, hit that like button. If you guys hate this type of content, hit that dislike button. It will hurt your boy's feelings. And also, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy by hitting that subscribe button to help out with the empire grow tremendously. So on that note, let's just dive into the video with our first matchup. I have Mack Hollins, the wide receiver for the Falcons, going against Cam Taylor-Britt, the corner for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a pretty interesting, exciting matchup. Now, obviously, they're not going to face each other off too long, but hopefully the first or second or third drive we can see a little bit, fight and a little bit dog between both of these two young Thundercats, because they both had a pretty good stellar 2022 season. With Mack Hollins had a career year, with over 600 plus receiving yards, a couple of touchdowns. He looks pretty good when him and Derek Carr was doing that connection. I could get a little bit more detail in that, but if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, go check out the Atlanta Case Files series I done about Mack Hollins. It's a really good one. It's a really interesting one if you guys want a little bit more backstory on that type of category. But what I'm curious about how he's going to face against Taylor, because Taylor is a really good corner. Now, he was a rookie last season, second round out of Nebraska, I'm pretty sure. And he only got to play in 10 games, but then in 2 playoff games. And I thought he had a pretty good, time understanding, not allowing a lot of receptions being targeted his way. The only game he actually had trouble against was the Cleveland Browns, week 14 against Amari Cooper, where he gave up 92 yards on 9 targets. Amari Cooper caught 5 of those. And also, Cam had 2 pass breakups. And even against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when he was shattering Mike Evans, Evans was targeted 6 times, only caught 3 receptions for a grand total of 28 yards. But what really impresses me is that during the playoffs against the Buffalo Bills, he was shadowing over Stephon Diggs, and Diggs was targeted 8 times, only caught 4 receptions for a grand total of 36 yards and 2 pass breakups. That really solidified this young man as being a really good contender for being a top corner in the NFL, for being so young as well. So what I am interested in seeing is how Mack Hollins will attack the young athletic corner, because Cam does a really good job not allowing his opponent to get over 50 plus yardage per game. So what I want to see is how Mack can create separation, how he can catch with the catch radius that Cam really does not allow per game. And also, I want to see if he can trick Cam in going one way or another. So on that note, let's just dive in for the second matchup. Bud Dupree, the pass rusher, versus Jonah Williams, the right tackle. Now, this is a very interesting matchup for one reason for me, for Bud Dupree, is I just want to see, can Bud Dupree come back from his golden era days of how he can be flexible and using his swim move, using his pass rush move, using his sight to get after the edge, create that nice push off the guard, the center, the left tackle, the right tackle, whatever offensive line that is thrown at him. I just want to see that, and the burst and speed and the hustle. And all that's what I want to see. But also, Jonah Williams is definitely an interesting pick, because a couple of weeks ago, or maybe months ago, there was a lot of talk about, should the Atlanta Falcons get him, because he requested a trade around March. And so it was always interesting. I would keep hearing, these voices about, should we get him, should we not, because, he used to be a left tackle. But then, it didn't pan out for him that way. So then they decided to move into the right tackle position. So it's just an interesting matchup to see. He could have been a Falcon. So that's why I just put that matchup, just to get a little spotlight out there for my boy. Now let's talk about our final matchup on today's video. The rookie Matthew Bergeron, the left guard, versus the D-line when it comes to the Bengals. I don't care who it is. I'm just excited to see what Matthews can bring to the table. Now, I don't know. He must have played last week, because I wasn't paying attention at all to the offensive line. But this time, I most definitely will, because I want to see, will he be starting, or will he be in the second string or third string, or whatever type of string he's going to be in. I definitely want to see how he's going to react to how the Bengals D-line is going to shift. What type of front four they're gonna face, blitz concepts, you know, 2A gap, B gap, all that crazy nonsense palava. But I also want to see, you know, the rematch against, you know, Matthew Bergeron versus Miles Murphy, you know, back in, you know, Syracuse and the Clemson days. Now, I did do Atlanta Falcons K-Files video on Matthew Bergeron, so a full breakdown on what he did in college. So if you guys want to check that out, the links are in below as well, to give you guys a better idea of what he can bring to the Atlanta Falcons. But this is just going to be a really eye-opening moment for me and for a lot of Falcon fans, because a lot of us weren't too happy about the pick at first, but then, you know, they transitioned him into, you know, the left guard position, because mostly in college he just played left tackle and right tackle, not a lot of guard snaps, so that's why it was kind of a head scratcher in the beginning. But it's also nice to see, you know, a revenge against Matthew Bergeron versus, you know, Miles Murphy, because Miles Murphy had the upper edge that game against Clemson, where Matthew Bergeron had a solid game. But you know what, redemption arc is here, and I would love to see, you know, his drive, his pedigree, his nastiness. And I want to see him, you know, can he come back from this dub, because he lost the first round. So second round, I definitely want to see. So on that note, if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the video, thank you so much for taking your own personal time and day to watch these Falcon videos. I love making Falcon content for you guys, and there's more Falcon videos right here on the screen. So, what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.